the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. Follow the Money is brought to you by ProfitX. Sign up today, make your first purchase, and earn a bonus up to $100 in bonus cash. Download the ProfitX app and use the code VSiNMM. We start this hour filled with college basketball, going to Indianapolis, as Mike DeCourcy has done an impeccable job covering college basketball for 3+ decades with the Sporting News, and he joins us now on the Progressive Guest Line. Mike, it's been an amazing run. Thanks so much for taking some time before the game tips off tonight. How are you?
Thank you very much. It's very kind of you to say. I appreciate it so much. It's been a beautiful week here in Indy, a place that I called home for 10 years. So many people have been so kind with congratulations and such. And it feels kind of funny because I believe that I will be back in Detroit a year from now. And I'm definitely, whether I'm having to pay for it myself or someone's hooking me up to get there to work, I am definitely coming to Vegas. I want to see it out there. But I keep thinking that I'm going to show up at next year's Final Four, and all the people who congratulated me are going to be like, I thought we got rid of you.
You said, that farewell tour. Yeah. No, I'm coming back for one more run at this thing. I'll start here. If Michigan, you wrote the story, and I love that you did this, right? Because the Fab Five, they had the outcast with the Fab Five on Saturday. And like that 89 national title winning team from Michigan is kind of just forgotten about, right? It's like, okay, did that really happen or not? You wrote about why that should be like up there with the Fab Five or even better. Well, if this team wins it tonight, is this the best Michigan team of all time?
Yeah, it's a really interesting conversation to be had. And I would be willing to bet that the players on the 89 team, Glenn Rice and Terry Mills, would love to have the conversation because it would mean their Wolverines won again. But I think Terry would say that they were, and Terry's like the best. He's still around because he's their radio analyst, so I see him all the time, and just the loveliest man. But I'm sure he'd still say it was them. That team had a bunch of pros. This team has fewer. Trey McKinney will definitely be a pro. I think Morrow will find some time in the league. Yet Lindeborg, I predict, will be the most underdrafted player wherever he falls. The most underdrafted player in this class because he's 24. Or will be before they start hooping next fall in the NBA. And I think a lot of people will be scared off by that. But he's so young in the game. He barely played in high school. He went to junior college. A year ago, he's a power forward who was just, a big guy with unbelievable dynamism and just protecting the rim and getting rebounds. And now he's a small forward, and he continues to get better and better. And I think he's got as much upside as just about anybody in the draft. I think the team that picks him is going to be really excited. So there's a lot to like about this team. But in terms of accomplishment, pure accomplishment, there's no debate. If they win tonight, there will never have been a more accomplished Michigan team. Because remember, the one that won in '89 was a little bit of an underachiever in the regular season, got a 3 seed, and then they got it together. And they were probably got it to, they had a mixture of youth and veteran players. Plus, they had a coaching change in the middle at the end of the regular season before the tournament. They had a coaching change, so a lot went a little weird with them, and they put it together and won. So a lot of credit goes to them. But this team would be, I think, 37-3 if they win. 19-1 in the Big Ten, 10-0 on the road in the Big Ten. Made the Big Ten final. They've done just about everything. They blew out Gonzaga. They blew out Tennessee. They blew out Arizona. Win this one, and there's no debate about the most accomplished Michigan team.
Are they going to do that tonight? And they've not only have they won every game, they've scored 90 points, and they've been awesome from 3. Will it continue, or can Hurley slow the tempo down and make it interesting?
See, I know Hurley will do everything he can to slow it down. Everything, including, if they have to, running their possessions longer than they might ordinarily, because he knows he's so smart. He knows that they can't win a track meet. I thought that Arizona would figure that out. I was disappointed that they didn't. I didn't think that they would. I thought they would look at the Duke tape back in mid-February. What game? I don't know if it ended in the 50s, but it was in the 50s pretty much in that sense. And then you look at the Tennessee tape. And Tennessee tried to slow it down, but they didn't have the they didn't have the goods on offense. Their defense never got a chance because their offense couldn't support controlling the tempo. They didn't have enough true guard play, and they weren't efficient enough on offense to slow it down. But I think UConn will believe that it can. And so I do think it'll be slower than what Michigan has been able to do. Look, if they can get to 90 tonight, I will just be flabbergasted. I'd be surprised if they get to 80, but I won't be surprised if I won't be totally surprised if they got to the mid to high 70s and still won by a bunch. But I have no doubt that this game will be more controlled. What I don't know about, because Lendeborg is such an important part of why they're awesome. And he banged up his knee on Saturday when he stepped on Mo Kribas's foot during a drive, and he tweaked his ankle a little bit too at the same time. And there's no question he's going to play, and there's no question he's going to get everything he has. But what does he have? That affects him at both ends of the floor because that dynamism, that elite dynamism, unmatched in college basketball this year, if he can't get going at the pace he usually does, then he's a really tall, standstill shooter who's very good, but not, it's not like Steph Curry. And then at the defensive end, he's the perfect person to make Braylon Mullins wish he was back at Greenfield High. He is so good. But if he has to run through all those screens they're going to set, I don't think they'll do it. Like, if he's not good, then they'll limit his exposure to Mullins, and that will make it a more comfortable game for Mullins. So, again, he's not impacting the game at either end at the level that he can if he's impaired. And, of course, we know he's going to go, but we don't know how effective he'll be until we get there and they throw the ball up and we watch him go up and down the court a few times.
I can say the same thing about Ball, too. The guy was walking around with a boot.
Yeah, and he's terrific. And his excellence on Saturday was essential to what they did to Illinois. But the game doesn't change on him. He's not the guy that everything rides on. He's a very good player, and they are better when he's playing well. And I'm underestimating his importance a little bit, but they could still have Caravan splash 4 threes, or if Mullins could get going in the way that I talked about, he can go for 4 or 5. Ball just would have to be able to be an effective defender in a matchup against somebody like Namari Burnett. And then, of course, when they bring Trey McKinney in, he's got to work a little harder. But that I think they could get by with that. Mm-hmm. But I don't see Michigan being as effective if Lendeborg is less than.
Fair enough. Follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Mike DeCourcy, in Indianapolis for tonight's national title game between Michigan and Connecticut. He's on the Progressive guest line. If UConn wins, Terrace Reed will more than likely be the most outstanding player of the tournament just because he's been absolutely fabulous. Do you see him having another big game? And I'll throw this what if at you, and that is, what if Terrace Reed has a little foul trouble? Then what for UConn?
Oh, they still have Reib, Eric Reib, 7'2" center from Germany. So he gives them a big body presence, and he's going to be terrific a year from now. He's going to be a great player. I think you'll see in him, I don't think he's quite as talented as Klingon, but a similar progression from his freshman year to his sophomore year. And that could start tonight. Grayson Allen's progression started in the title game. So if the scenario you talk about comes about, he could become very important in this game and deliver a really solid performance. He's a really fine talent. But I think that Terrace will be smart enough to stay out of foul trouble. The one thing that he can't do is he can't get caught up in trying to block Mara's shot. Unless he's coming from off the ball for some reason, he got switched or something. But on ball, he's going to have to live with Mara dropping a few in, because if Mara gets deep, then he's finishing. Now, that's the whole thing. He was asked about it yesterday. I spent a lot of time in the breakout session with him with Terrace in his on Sunday afternoon at the press conference sessions, and he talked about how Mara's 7'3" and he's really long. But I'm 6'11" and I am really wide, and he's planning on using that muscle, hopefully as efficiently and cleanly as possible, to keep Mara from getting his favored position. Mara can be effective 6 or 8, 10 feet away. He can still drop in that little floater. He could do that, But there isn't anybody in basketball that wouldn't rather give him that shot than him dropping the ball into the goal, literally. Because I mean, he's so long that he doesn't even have to get get good extension. I mean, he just has to reach up his arm if he's deep enough, and he can drop it in.
90 seconds. Are you disgusted with the report that they're going to expand to 76 teams?
That's the best word. I mean, there may be some fouler words than that, but that's the best word to describe it. It's such a horrifically bad idea. And people ask me, well, why is that such a problem? Okay, here's why. First of all, the explosion of interest in the tournament is traced to the bracket. And if you don't understand that, then you shouldn't be in a position to make decisions about this. Having that bracket on one sheet of paper is what has made this tournament as popular as it is. That's one. Two, there isn't anybody getting left out that is a significant threat to win this. Or can somebody win a couple of games if they get this break and that guy gets – yeah, that can happen. But it's not like quality teams are being left out of this field. I've done the brackets for Fox for 7 years now.
Yeah.
I know what's on the other side of that line, and it is not worthy of being on the right side of the line.
Well said. Mike, you've been terrific covering the sport for so many years. Enjoy retirement from this part of it anyway. Maybe we'll catch up during the World Cup, which you're still going to cover. Enjoy the game tonight as well. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Mike DeCourcy, the Sporting News. Up next, in-pocket plays and some more numbers to look at for tonight's national title tilt in Indianapolis.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
To determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3 to 1 odds. Nope. 5 to 1. Nope. 10 to 1. You're on.
All right, a lot to recap. A lot of plays coming up. That was bizarre on Friday night. Precious Achiuwa had been playing so well. He's not getting a lot of minutes. Christie got me good here. He scored 12 points and was hardly out there in the fourth quarter, and they won the game.
Came back to win the game.
Yeah, came back to win. Down double digits and won. And it just stayed under the total as well. The tanking parlay won. Everything got there with all the big favorites. That was incredible. And a winner. Total games to go to overtime. Under 3.5. We're at 2. And UConn +2. Easy winner on Saturday. The tough one was both teams to score 65 points. Illinois gets 62 and could not make a shot for a month. I'll tell you what was big in that game. Illinois got the lead with 6 minutes left until the half. They go into the locker room down, I think it was 8. That 6-minute sequence before the half was a killer. And then they're down 14, and they rally to cut it to 3, but then couldn't make a shot down the stretch.
Well, how many times again in that game did they have a ball that appeared to be a basket, and it rattled out halfway down, sat on the rim for a half an hour, then rolled off? They got such an unlucky roll in that game.
Yep. A lot on the line in the final week of the season, and it's a mess in the East. Seeds 5 through 10, what's going to transpire? I got the Hornets no to make the playoffs. The Yes is now favored after they had a good week. A lot of teams around them lost, and they had a big win at Minnesota. I think they're on a little bit of a winning streak. See if they beat the Celtics tomorrow. But you look at the rest of the schedule, I think the 7 seed and maybe even the 6 is possible. But it'd be something if they could get the 7. Tonight, Terrace Reed over 14.5 points. Largest lead under 15.5. Astros money line against the Rockies, $1.60. Astros, 68 runs the last 8 games. They lead in runs, extra base hits, and OPS. They'll get to Feltner tonight. Warriors to make the playoffs. Yes, plus 320.
That's a good look.
Curry, looked great last night, and they almost beat the Rockets at home. So I don't like how the Clippers are playing, and I think they'll beat Portland if that's the matchup as well. Ton of guys out tonight for the Cavs, and that means Jared Allen's going to eat. Memphis can't guard anybody. They're putting out all these guys on 10-day contracts that are out there. You might be playing center tonight. He should go over his points prop. And it's a great story, and they've ended the drought, but I don't like how the Buffalo Sabres are playing. You know, since they clinched, they're in a bit of a funk, and I think Tampa's on fire. So a short price with the Tampa Bay Lightning tonight, and he's made the cut every year. Fitzpatrick to finish top 20. He's made the top 20 every year as well at the Masters. Fitzpatrick, $1.30.
He's also had a good season this year, too.
And it's the first Masters since 1994. No Tiger, no Phil.
Good luck, Pauly. Brian Wu over 7.5 Ks.
7?
I think he had 6
Damn.
in the game. They also pulled him in like 80 pitches. And he had a chance, by the way, to strike out like 10 plus, but it just never got there for him. So that was a loser on Friday night. Some of the pending and the new stuff. I do have the Hornets to make the playoffs from what feels like a year ago, 14-1. Hornets to make the play-in at 4-1. Pending here, Braves now lost 2 in a row to the Diamondbacks. But I got them 18-1, most wins in April. And the Pirates at 28-1. They're now taking a little bit of money up to like $1.37, $1.38 in this game against the Padres. I missed my chance because they were $1.30 earlier today, and that number felt a little fishy to me, but too late now, not going to add it. I did bet this tonight in the game that you have, too, the Astros. I'm on first 5 here over, -1.5, full game over 10.5 as well. I broke this down earlier in the show, and we talked a lot of hardcore Major League Baseball betting, and that is this. Hunter Brown is to the IL, so Cody Bolton is making his first career start. Lifetime ERA of 5.6 out of the pen. Feltner missed most of last season to an injury for the Rockies. Before he was hurt, the combined numbers in 2024 and 2025, 4.53 with the ERA, FIP of about 4.2 with more than a home run per 9. Astros averaging 7 runs per game to begin. They have played at 70 exactly over 10 games. They just scored 25 runs in Sacramento, another batter-friendly ballpark there. They twice hit double digits. Side note, Christian Walker lifetime in only 9 at-bats, small sample size, but 2 doubles and 2 home runs. So Alvarez is absolutely cooking. I hope that continues tonight. So I have 2 bets on the over there. Also, Hawks money line against the Knicks. They're 16-4 last 20 ATS. Knicks have been reeling a little bit. Atlanta's been basically the hottest team in the NBA, or one of anyway.
Oh, yeah.
I'm on them with the money line. This number also feels fishy. Almost everybody is out tonight for the Pistons.
Yeah.
They're laying 1.5 against Orlando.
What an indictment of Orlando.
Oh, my God. Are you kidding? No. There's no Wagner tonight, but they're used to playing without him.
Yeah.
Black's available. I'm taking the Magic plus 1.5 in this game. And that's it.
Don't want to be in that 9-10 next week. It's the other thing. We're brought to you by Profit X. If you're not on Profit X, Masters Week, perfect time to start. New users get a side-up bonus up to $100 in bonus cash just for getting started. Code VSINMM. During the Masters, make one play of $50 or more in any Masters market, win or lose, earn an entry to win a $1,000 golf prize of your choice, $1,000 round of golf, a $1,000 club, or a gift card to any golf apparel brand. Win or lose on your play, you're still in the running. Download the Profit X app, code VSINMM. Make your first purchase, earn that bonus, and get in on the action at Augusta. Download Profit X today. Promo code VSINMM.
All right, some more numbers for tonight's national title game. Michigan is number 1 overall on defense, number 4 on offense. Bart Torvik and Ken Palm, they're 22nd in tempo. UConn is 8th defensively, 26th offensively, and they're 320th in tempo.
Are you shocked they're here?
Well, yeah, because first of all, remember all those like numbers, Haslam numbers and stuff, like teams that can win a national title, they never made the list.
I know. And the Marquette lost through me. I was going to pick them because of Hurley in a 2 seed, but then God, that Marquette loss was so bad, and St. John's housed them twice, and then they get the miracle against Duke, and here they are again, 3rd time in 4 years.
Yep. Both teams. Okay, so UConn defensively, 12th in the nation, and a lot of this, we had Gavin McCarthy join us last week. His breakdowns on X are so good. But 12th in the nation, 2-point defense percentage, 17th in 3-point percentage defense. This is where it gets a little weird. UConn against Illinois, Shot quality had them at 7 for 19 at the rim. 37% worst of the season. They were 4 for 11 on layups and dunks.
Uh-huh.
So that's awful. Now tonight, the Wolverines are 9th in the country in defensive near proximity frequency, 4th in average defensive 2-point attempt distance, and 2nd in 2-point defense percentage. So Reed's like the one option down low for UConn. That's why I don't have him in pocket, and I still have time to shop around. The Caravan and the Mullins 3-point props are attractive to me.
Yeah.
Because Michigan is just so good down low, meaning that UConn's probably going to be taking a lot of threes in this game again. Michigan also shooting 44% from deep in the tournament. Against Duke, the one off game that they really had in recent weeks/months, they shot 24% from deep, and they were out-rebounded 41-28. Is there a way for Hurley to drum up something tonight for them to actually win the glass? Beat them on rebounds. And then, obviously, if they can play, their defense is very good, so it's not like Michigan's going to go out there and have an easy night tonight from downtown. But if Michigan's going to shoot 24% in this game like they did against Duke, could be talking about third title in 4 years for UConn.
Kevin, St. Cloud, Minnesota, checking in. Barkley said Saturday, Michigan, Arizona was the national title game. So we know who he's picking tonight.
Yeah.
Question is, does he pick Michigan
Big
in a blowout? That would, yes, after what he did Saturday. Illinois in a blowout, Arizona to beat Michigan. And also Rich from Canada checking in. If you bet every LA Kings game to go to overtime, you're up almost 50 units.
Well, this year?
They've played 33 overtime games.
What?
Can you believe that?
Get out of here.
Yeah. You're up over 50 units, he said. It was 48, and they played a couple more overtime games.
They've played 33 overtime games so far.
Yes.
Can we look at the all-time NHL record?
I'm looking at their schedule. They played like 5 in a row.
Okay.
How crazy is that stat?
Oh, by the way, Rich in Canada many years ago put us on that. He plays every single first-round NHL game to go to overtime.
Yeah.
Now, he recently had one down year. I think that was like 4 or 5 years ago. But you get a plus 325 to come in twice in one night?
Amen, bro.
And it's only the first round that he does it in, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay.
All right, let's follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. The email is ftm@vsin.com. On X as well, at VSiN Live, and Mitch Moss Radio at Pauly Howard. More on the national title game coming up with Dalen Cuff. Tonight, is it a simple handicap? Who controls the pace? Who shoots better from outside? We'll ask him his thoughts on the game coming up.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
More on the national title game tonight. We go out to the Progressive guest line. Dalen Cuff has been ultra nice and joining us now weekly here for at least a good month, the way it feels, with Turner Sports, dialed into college basketball. Dalen, thanks so much for the time today. How are you?
I'm doing well, fellas. I'll be sad to see our days go, but their World Cup is around the corner. We could be chatting about that.
There you go.
Too.
Yeah,
we'll
absolutely.
Yes.
Now we're talking. Yeah, the summer here is going to be dynamite with that event going on. Are you at least mildly surprised UConn made it here, all things considered, that loss to St. John's in the Big East title game, how they lost to Marquette before that? Or with Dan Hurley, you're like, nothing surprises me here?
I am surprised because I kept betting against them. So that has not been lucrative in this run. They weren't playing their best basketball. Nope. I mean, that's what they have reset. They've turned the corner, and they've run a pretty impressive gauntlet to get here. But no, when they lost to Marquette, obviously they should have lost to Seton Hall. You could argue they should have lost to Creighton, should have lost to Providence. Like, they were a bunch of times they kind of pulled a rabbit out of their hat. The defense wasn't as elite as I thought it needed to be, and Danny had said it needed to be for this team to get to this point. But they have been excellent in the tournament, and they've been excellent on the defensive side of the ball in particular. Their game plan against Illinois was great. We're helping off of nobody. We're making you beat us 1v1, and they have good 1v1 defenders, and you're making you shoot twos over us. It was a great recipe. The threes they gave up, Illinois didn't make them, and conversely, they made shots. It's a team that I did their game in late January in Providence against Providence at home in Stores, and what I kept saying is they'll hit their offensive ceiling. I was a believer in the team. Defensively, they were there. They got to keep improving offensively. They didn't make that jump, but in this tournament, they've made enough shots. They shot it really well the other night. They need to do that again tonight. They made 12 threes. They've got to do that again. And Terrace Reed was a monster throughout this tournament. He has been huge, and he has to have a huge day today. Cannot stay in foul trouble. I cannot get in foul trouble. And that Duke game really exudes what this team is about. And Danny's instilled the toughness, the culture, the belief that they are champions. And to take them out, it's going to take a complete effort. So Michigan is obviously a very formidable opponent, a very big favorite for a national championship game. But I am surprised UConn got here, given where they were about a month ago. But not surprised at the same time because Dan Hurley and the culture of this program continues to win out. What
do you think Ball gives them with the injury?
He's got to give him a lot. He's got to make shots, man. Like, this is a guy that's, bear in mind, guys, he led the league, the Big East, in three-point shooting last year at 44%. He was 29% this year. He really struggled to shoot it. He had a wrist injury on his shooting wrist for part of the year. I saw him hobbling out of the locker room the other day to go get that foot x-rayed. He's going to have to give them points and give them good defense. Like, this is what the hard part of this game is. UConn's got to play a damn near perfect game. Like, they got to shoot it well. They've got to run their offense, which makes this a lower possession game. They have to have their tempo, bottom 60 in the nation. I think all these things have to happen. I already mentioned Reed before. So hopefully I'm excited to see him, Ball, and Lendenborg in warmups and just see how they look. And then obviously early in the game, I think he's got to play his game and play one of the best games he's played all year, both as a floor game and as a shot maker.
Yeah. So I like what you said there. I've read a lot on the game, listened to a lot on the game as well, and it seems to be correlated, right? Like, if you like Michigan, it's probably going to go over. If you like UConn, probably going to be an under game here. That's easier said than done, though. Like, who controls the tempo? Do you think that Hurley, just with the experience here, like, he is going to force his team to absolutely control tempo here tonight?
Well, it's what they do. And honestly, they do it through just running good offense.
Right.
Like, they run an offense that we don't see a lot in college basketball. And a lot of it is off-ball screens. It's flare screens. It's pin downs. It's staggers. It's doubles. It's all this different stuff that a lot of times you don't see in modern college basketball. So once they get to one action, they get to the next action, the next action. And they make you think for 30 seconds, or maybe at the most 30 seconds, make you defend for an entire possession. And then you got to get your defensive rebounds, because it becomes demoralizing if you give up that offensive rebound. Now you got to do it again. So they're going to just play their game. And I think their game and how they run offense will lead to a lower possession game. Their transition defense is important. They have had issues with turning it over at times in big games. They can't turn the ball over because that obviously allows Michigan to play out and score. So play out of that and go score and create a faster tempo. So I do think they're going to get their pace just because that's how they run their offense. And they're defensively, they are an elite defensive team. So if they're playing good defense, it's going to make Michigan work a little bit harder. Michigan, I think will switch most likely 1 through 4, all that screening action. When Mara's in the game, when Mara's out of the game, they'll probably switch 1 through 5. But even Lendenborg, how his body is moving, because you're going on all these off-ball actions and screens coming from different angles. Again, how he's moving, how he's looking physically is really important early in this game.
Yeah.
And if they are switching things, which it's likely they do that, how that is then exploited potentially by UConn with slips, with backdoors, how they're trying to take advantage of that. And if times where there's a mismatch, what they do there will be huge to see.
Mm-hmm. Were you surprised with what they did and how they just took apart Arizona so easy?
Guys, I'm rarely shocked. I mean, we had a lot going on in society. There's a lot of things that are happening, and I don't think much shocks me anymore. That shocked me. I mean, it was a complete domination, a complete beatdown. It was almost never competitive. It was 16-5 at the first media timeout. Morez Johnson, and Lendenborg had 2 fouls in the first 8 minutes.
Yes.
Lendenborg was in the locker room for half of the first half, and they extended the lead. Like, it was crazy. Now, Jaden Bradley picking up 2 fouls early and then a third in the first half really changed the game. He's the guy that I think was so important in that matchup. He's been so important to them all year, Big 12 Player of the Year. It was almost non-existent. And then when Burries had the ball in his hand, they were loose with it. They forced a lot of stuff. They kept continuing to drive the ball when you didn't have a lane. They didn't share it. Both Illinois and them were way below their assist numbers in that game. They just did not share the ball well. They had 10 turnovers the first half. So Arizona's poor performance was the shock. Not that Michigan beat them. It was how Michigan beat them and how bad Arizona was in the biggest moment. That was probably the worst game I'd seen them play since being on the road at home to Texas Tech in February. It wasn't bad. It was an overtime game, but they weren't as sharp as they normally are. But that was probably the worst games I've seen them play, and having your leader is a big part of that.
Right. And so now when you tie it into Michigan, honestly, like, if UConn has to have a chance to win this game outright, forget about the points. Maybe it comes down to the point spread. You basically need Michigan to play by far and away their worst game of the tournament.
I don't think they need to play their worst game. I think UConn has to play by far their best. And of the tournament, yes. Okay, yeah. Because Michigan's been so good in the tournament. So, yes, they would play their worst game in the tournament, but not their worst game all year. I think you can still beat them, but I think UConn has to pitch a perfect game. Mm-hmm. They have to hope Michigan does not make threes, as Mark Few told me the other day before the game, interviewing him. And obviously, he was part of that. Gonzaga got throttled by Michigan in November, and that was like kind of the coming out party. He told Tommy Lloyd, if they're making threes, look out. So if they are making shots, we got a problem here. There's no way UConn can overcome that. If they're not making threes and they're playing at a slower tempo, and they have had turnover issues themselves at times, if they are turning the ball over, if they do have foul trouble, we've seen big games. Adai Mara pick up 2 in the other game. His impact on that game was huge. His ability to rim run and block shots and finish at the rim was massive. If he's in some foul trouble, if Cadeau is not, if they blitzed some of these ball screens, Cadeau was so good coming off and being aggressive to set the tone for that team. They ran that drop coverage. He came right off against Arizona, right in the lane. Right. Now, granted, he was missing some of those shots, but they were in rotation. They got offensive rebounds. He had 6 assists in the first half. So what if Cadeau is struggling with how they're guarding him on ball screens, if they're able to affect him and get him retreating, then we could have ourselves a game. Like, I think but those are a lot of things that have to happen for UConn to be right and Michigan to not be what we've seen throughout this tournament to get us to that point, which is possible, but we'll have to see.
Okay, excellent. What do you think of Malone to North Carolina?
Here's the thing, guys. I think it's an NBA coach coming down to college is great. We've seen success in that. Kevin Young going to BYU and bringing a different approach to the game. Luke Laux coming down and playing at Florida State. Florida State really had it going last 6-7 weeks of the season. I think they're going to end up being a really good team if he gets money. That's the same thing with Mike Malone. The question right now in college basketball and college sports, and really basketball in particular, because so many 1 or 2 guys can make the difference, it's what are my resources? Mm-hmm. Do I have all the video coordinators and the assistants that I want? Do I have a big pool of money to get those people and have this staffed out the way I want it staffed out? The GM that's currently there, Jim Tanner, do I have to work with him? And if so, how does this relationship work? What is going on here? How does this work? Okay, we need that part. Then last but not least, the money, the straight up dollars and cents. Rev share wise, you got Belichick there. You guys want to be good at football? How much money is he getting? How much money am I getting? From the NIL standpoint, on top of that, what can we coalesce around that to be additive to the rev share, the stuff the school's going to give me? What does our financial situation look like? That's what really matters. You need players, and players are they are going to demand a price, and the market is a bit bananas, but you need to play in that market. You should be able to look down 8 miles down the road and say, I need everything that Duke has if we're going to be successful. I'm a really good coach, but every great coach from Mike to Krzyzewski to Roy Williams and anybody else that's been doing it for 50 or 60 years will tell you the players win the games. Mm-hmm. And right now, to get the players, you need the money and you need the resources. Yep. So if we have that, all that set up, Michael will be fine on the floor. But you need all that stuff to get the results.
Well said. In like 30 seconds here, what is your best bet for the game tonight?
Guys, I feel like I'm getting my ass kicked by UConn too much. I'm not happy with it right now. I would lean to the under. I think we're going to have a tight game. So that would be my play right now would be the under. But I do want to see this live. And I do actually want to see the guys warming up. I want to see Lendenborg. Yeah, okay. I want to see Ball. And I'll be able to stand basically on the floor and watch them right there at floor level and see how they're moving around, which may influence my decision there right before tip, or as we even see the first few minutes of the game, what the live situation looks like.
Yeah. Man, thank you so much for your time. Hotel room in Indianapolis, the way it looks here, is you're getting ready to go to the game here pretty soon. Dalen, that was awesome. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah, Lucas Oil's right there, boys. I'm going to go get some food, and we're going to the game. Thanks, guys.
Right.
Have fun, man.
Nice job.
Thank you. And he joined us on the Progressive Guest Line.
Great week. Masters almost here. And if you think you know the field better than the average bettor, time to prove it. The VSiN High Stakes Masters Challenge on Splash Sports. $500 entry, $100,000 guaranteed. Fantasy tiers contest built specifically for golf bettors. You draft 6 golfers, 1 from each tier. Top 5 scores count. Your worst golfer gets dropped. Miscuts carry a penalty. Roster construction matters. Entry closes April 9th at 8 a.m. SplashSports.com/VSiN. Code VSiN. SplashSports.com. Code VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back. Thanks for checking the show out on YouTube TV, Sirius XM Channel 158, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, or any of our great affiliates across the country following us. It is VSiN Primetime. Tim Murray, Matt Humans, 4 full hours as always coming up tonight, and they will take you through the entire live betting game that we have for the national title game. There's going to be zero fluff. There's going to be no nonsense. There's not going to be a concert on during the show at all leading into it, right?
Debatable. We do have some connections with the Chainsmokers. They may or may not show up for a portion of the show tonight.
Could you get Matt Humans to sing something on the air?
Think he knows the song?
Does he know any song ever?
He has some hits. How about that? People were
I was with Matt on Saturday night.
Okay.
And thankfully, we were at the Westgate, and our friend John Murray pivoted and had the sound put on UFC because I think Matt would have spontaneously combusted if
I
he
had no idea what I was
the
watching.
Chainsmokers the whole time.
Yeah. Usually this stuff doesn't bother me because I'm not a big pregame guy.
Yeah.
I was losing my mind on Saturday with how
It's
big
the
of a
build-up
waste.
to, and you made the point we were talking off air. It's the build-up to the greatest game. Now, it didn't live up to expectations, but per Ken Pom, it was the third and fourth best team in the history of his database, dating back to '97, and we got Will Forte dressed up as an old whatever he was, and then the Chainsmokers.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it earlier with the talking basketball. Talking basketball and throwing to try to knock down milk cartons at halftime of tournament games and no X and O's talk. It was unbelievable. So what do you think tonight? Is it correlated? UConn and under or Michigan and over?
So, I like to make fun of myself like we all do. So we're in the Circa College Hoops contest, and I am, I believe, 24-19-1. And if you stretch it out, I'm 23-13-1 on non-best bets. And on the best bet, I'm 1-6. So tonight.
So what's your not best bet for tonight?
Exactly. So I like the under. So go over. But I was looking back at it, and look, this market has obviously bet this thing up like crazy, right?
Yeah.
Open like 144. We're up at some shops 146.5. I don't think we've seen a 147 yet. We might get there. Who knows? But I was looking back at this season, and it's pretty clear to me, guys, when UConn feels like they have the athletic advantage, they'll play your style. If you look at Providence is top 20 in the country in pace. Those two games were in regulation because one went to overtime. 89 all, 87, 81. BYU, you think back to that game they played in Boston. They had that big lead.
Oh, yeah.
86-84 in regulation, 74 possessions. But they played Arizona. Terrace Reed didn't play in that game. They played Arizona, and they held Arizona to 63 total possessions. That game was 63 total possessions, 71-67. The pre-flop total in that game was 156.5, way under, 71-67. And the one St. John's game they won, the one in Stores, they dominated the game, right? They bullied them. 58 possessions. So I really look at it as the only way that UConn can stay in this game is to just grind this thing to dust. Will they be able to do that? I don't know. Michigan is obviously one of the most up-tempo teams in the country, but if they get into an up-tempo game, I just don't see much of an avenue for UConn to win. So to your initial question of is it correlated, I think there is some correlation, and obviously I think UConn has to hit their shots, and it's debatable whether or not they could do it. Braylon Mullins was great on Saturday night. Can he carry that over? Alex Caravan, you're going to need something from him, but the size for this Michigan team. And another thought I had, too, was like, think back to the national championship a couple years ago when they played Zach Edey. They said, all right, big boy, you go get yours. We're not going to let you shoot threes. Do they implement that today? Do they let Adai Mara get his inside and just try to take away the perimeter? Not that Michigan is a prolific three-point shooting team, but they will hit him from outside. So I'm fascinated to see what Dan Hurley has up his sleeve because he's got some wrinkles up there. I mean, if it's any other coach than Dan Hurley, I'm probably not even thinking about taking UConn. But because it's him and the stretch that he's on, obviously, from an ATS standpoint that we've discussed ad nauseum on this network, it's hard to not even just look at him a little bit and say, maybe they have a shot because he's that good of a coach.
What do you think Reed does? Are you with humans over 14.5 points?
My worry's foul trouble, right? I do get worried a little bit with the foul situation because of the size. How is this game from a whistle standpoint? I mean, you think back to Arizona and Michigan, beep, beep. I mean, we got fouls just like that. So does that play into it? I can't. It's hard for me to play under Terrace Reed here because I also think, going back to the under, grind it out, get it inside, let the big boy try to go to work. So I wouldn't play under, but I do worry a little bit about the foul trouble for Reed.
In terms of the overall total, I think we're going to be able to tell right away, like live, what you're going to want to do.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I'm talking like the first, probably by the media timeout, which comes at under 16 minutes.
Well, we even knew that in the Duke-UConn game. I mean, those teams got off to really – I like the under in that game, and it goes over because it was a quick start. It eventually did get slowed down a little bit.
Did.
And I think what UConn needs to avoid – I mean, this is pretty obvious, but, like, they can't do what Arizona did. You can't be down 10-1. You can't be down 16-5 because then you're playing catch-up against a team that wants you to play fast. Like, if you get out and go and you're playing fast, good night. I don't see a pathway for UConn in a 75 possession game. That's not their game. They have to. If you look back to the Final Four games under Hurley, against Miami 64, against San Diego State 69, against Bama, he held them to 63 possessions in that Alabama game. Purdue 61 in the national title, and then 64 possessions on Saturday night. They've got to play slow in this game, in my opinion.
Yeah, okay, so what about, now he asked you about Reed.
Yeah.
So down low, and by the way, Michigan absolutely elite at and near the rim, right? So it's going to be Reed and then probably not a lot close to the rim. So then what about guys from outside? You can get plus money on both Caravan and Mullins to hit threes in this game tonight, go over 2.5. They each took 7 against Illinois.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a recipe for success. You're going to have to hit some threes in this game. I don't know if Caravan forces it. You know, it reminds me a little bit of, because we're thinking about UConn against Duke in 1999. UConn was a 9.5-point underdog and pulled the upset. And Trajan Langdon, if I remember correctly, he was the lone senior on that team, or the one who was vital to that team. A lot of youngsters, and I felt like he forced it a lot. I don't think Caravan would do that, but like, does Caravan try to get his tonight a little bit more? So, but yeah, I do think there has to be some sort of we got to shoot the three in this game. Try to take away the three of Michigan and try to hit threes and maybe play catch up that way.
Mike DeCourcy was on earlier. He said disgusted. What do you and humans think about moving to 76 teams?
Look, I mean, I think Matt is actually more open to it. I was surprised about it. At the end, I think it's trying to find the right comparison. Because when it comes about, I'll watch it because it's more basketball.
We all will. And we'll all bet on it.
And I think this maybe is an apt comparison. I hate that we've changed all the conferences in college, right? I hate it.
Can't stand it.
But I can't do anything about it. Right? I'm not going to watch it. Well, no, that's a lie. I still like when Oregon plays Ohio State. I just don't like when Rutgers plays UCLA, right? So will I watch it? Of course. Does it have a chance to come to Vegas maybe and amplify our experience? Possibly, but I mean, Auburn would have been in this year. Oklahoma
There's
is
no
in
need
this
to do
year.
it. And then there's only going to be, 52 teams in the bracket? You play your way into the bracket, and you join the other 50-plus teams? DeCourcy said that's going to be a nightmare because people...
Logistically, traveling.
Yeah.
You're going to be playing games. You're going to find out on Sunday night where you're headed, and then on Tuesday morning, you're going to be playing a game, right? Because you're going to have to play...
it's going to be all day Tuesday. Yeah. Well, we're going to get games, a lot of games on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, from a betting standpoint, hey, it's more games. It's more for things for us to talk about. But am I excited about it? No, I'm not excited about it. I'll watch it.
Once it gets here, we're going to be excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll watch it. I'm not gonna write a column about it, but I don't think we need it. It's the perfect tournament. It is literally the perfect thing, and we just keep extrapolating it out. Just don't mess with my Thursday and Friday. Like, just that is perfection. Yeah. Do not mess with it. So
this goes bye-bye. He's right. It won't be able to fit on one piece of paper.
No, the bracket's not going to fit on one paper.
Yeah. It's all right.
The perfect thing.
Go get them coming up. We're brought to you by Profit X. If you're not on Profit X yet, Masters Week, the perfect time to start. New users get a sign-up bonus up to $100 in bonus cash just for signing up. The code is VSINMM. Make one play, $50 or more on any Masters market, win or lose, and you get an entry to win a $1,000 prize of your choice, which could be a round of golf, a club, or a gift card. Win or lose on your play, you're still in the running. Download the Profit X app, use code VSINMM, make your first purchase, earn that bonus, and get in on the action at Augusta. Download Profit X today, code VSINMM.
I will say the transfer portal opens up tomorrow morning. I'm not afraid to put a 20, 25, 30, 40 to 1 in pocket if I see something that I like for next year. I'd love to have Michigan in pocket from last year.
That'd be nice.
I don't. Have a great show with Matt.
All right, appreciate it.
There you go. They're coming
Thanks,
up 4 hours. And again, by the way, this will be the show that you want to watch tonight before the game starts. Good luck.